the many years this stupid game has been out, there have been many highs, and of course many lows too. Obviously, people will have their own opinions on things, and I obviously have my own too. I mean, I am completely aware that there are some sociopaths out there that think Direct was one of the greatest seasons of all time, and that's perfectly fine. But my question for you today is, why on earth did everyone hate Chapter 4? Like, am I missing something or what? I feel like most people I talk to are split whether Chapter 4 or 5 is worse, and I'm just over here sitting here like, how is that even a comparison? So today, I'm going to do a deep dive into every season of Chapter 4, and hopefully see what gave it such a poor reputation, and also just give it my thoughts on it genuinely too. So sit back and enjoy this video. Alright, before we start, let's do a quick Battle Pass review. 5 out of 10. Doomslayer and Ageless are cool, but the rest is really forgettable. Anyways, back to the season. Talking about starting off the chapter with a bang. Season 1 kicked things off with a new map, loot pool, vehicles, and so much more. I just realized every single chapter does that, so disregard this point. To start with the map, I'd say this map honestly isn't that bad. I mean, yeah, it obviously isn't as good as chapters 1 through 3, excluding chapter 3 season 4. But that's probably just because there's no returning named locations. But the ones we have are still pretty sweet. Places like the Citadel, Faulty Splits, Brutal Bastion, and admittedly only a few more, but the locations were all pretty good. Now let's talk about the augments for a second. I miss these things so much. They added so much depth and variety to every single game. One game you could infinitely fly with the dub shotgun and balloons. The next you could decide to do a strat with promoting aggressive shotgun usage. There was just so many fun combos with these. The main problem with them was, yeah, they kind of got annoying in the middle seasons, but I'd say they picked back up in Season 4. Then we have the meta. Oh my god, they actually cooked so hard with this one. I'd say the only department lacking somewhat is assault rifles, as the Chapter 4 Scar is only rivaled by the lever action shotgun for the worst weapon of all time, and the red eye could be a bit clunky at sometimes. But other than that, everything else was just perfect. Chapter 2 Season 6, what am I saying? The Thunder Shotgun, Twin Mag SMG, Shockwave Hammer, Tactical Pistols, the bows from Chapter 2 Season 6, and more. Then they added the Deku Smash, which single-handedly ruled pubs for the entire season. If you were in a box and you heard that stupid, you were a dead man walking. So once, of course, this got pretty boring, guess what they did? They added back the Dragon Ball mythics, of course, adding even more chaos to the mix. Then when that started getting boring, they dropped one of the greatest updates of all time, the Most Wanted event. A ton of unvaults, new exotic weapons, new bosses, and best of all, a completely new gameplay mechanic that promoted aggressive gameplay. To say this went over well with the community would be an understatement. Unfortunately, this only lasted 2 weeks, and when it ended, the season was basically over at that point. So I think Chapter 4 Season 1 was an absolutely amazing season with some of the best updates in Fortnite history. Now let's see how Season 2 carries this win streak. Speedrun Battle Pass review. This is a 4 out of 10 Battle Pass. Not a single skin stands out to me for the right reasons. Mizuki is the worst tier 100 skin of all time, and I'm tired of people not acting like she is. Highwire makes me think of this stupid t-shirt my friend was going to buy, and the only good skin is Renzo, and even then I don't even use him like that. Anyways, Season 2 started off with killing off Faulty Splits. May it rest in peace. But in its place we got Mega City, which is one of the best locations of all time to be honest, along with a few other pretty solid locations like Steamy Springs. However, I'm not very fond of the loot pool this season, because most of the mythic weapons were just some of the most brain-dead things ever added to this game. Stuff like the Mythic Havoc doing 140 to the body, the Overclocked Pulse Rifle, which was somehow play-tested and deemed completely balanced enough to be put in the game, and a lot of collab items. Attack on Titan, Spider-Man, Star Wars, just made the pretty solid base loot pool extremely unbalanced and not fun. The Kinetic Blade is pretty good though. We also, again, like I said, we had the Star Wars update, which was one of the best ones ever, but that also just served to muck up the loot pool even more with broken mythics. Heals were also really broken this season with so many Chug Splashes, Med Mist, Slurp Juice, Med Kits, pizzas, just so much stuff. You can probably tell I'm not a massive fan of this season. I played until the Star Wars update and then just stopped until Season 3. I know this is super unpopular and this section's really short, but this is definitely my least favorite season of the chapter. Chapter 6 Season 1 basically just starts as the exact same thing but better in every single way. I'm still mad that they have the exact same theme though. Yeah, J-Pro, it's Neo Japan versus traditional Japan. Shut up, it's still Japan. It's too similar. Maybe Season 3 though can clutch this L up. Speedrun Battle Pass Review. This is a 7 out of 10 in my opinion. We got some pretty good skins in here like Lorenzo, Paradise Meowscles, and Optimus Prime. And there's not a single skin I'd say is terrible. Alright, about the season though. Can you guys be completely honest with me? What do you see in Season 3 that is just so bad? I really don't understand. Am I missing something? With other hated seasons like Primal, Wrecked, Paradise, they all had some major mechanic overhaul that strayed away from the formula of BR, which is likely why they weren't received well. But with Wilds, I don't see the issue. This is just a little conspiracy theory, but what happened was probably that all the sweaty nerds who dropped Anvil Square in Season 2 got mad and got removed, so they just gaslit the entire community into thinking the season was terrible. Like, the map changes weren't that bad. Jungle was a pretty cool change of pace, and I always liked fighting in the treetops. And we still had all the great Season 1 and 2 drops, like Brutal Bastion, Mega City, the Citadel, and even more stuff. The loot pool was also fantastic. Basically taking all the garbage mythics I hated from Season 2, but keeping all of the balanced base weapons. We had some great new weapons in here too, like MK Alpha, Repeater Rifle, Mammoth Pistol, and a really good amount of leftovers like the Tac Pistol and the Havoc Pump. However, the unvolts were pretty freaking horrific. The Combat SMG, the Drum Shotgun, and the Lever Action Shotgun. Yeah, these were not it. But it's okay, because the season ended with the JJK update. I just want to start this off by saying that I don't think I've ever seen something as overrated as Jujutsu Kaisen, but the event itself was pretty fun. We got new llamas, fun mythics, and a solid event pass. Overall, I really don't think Wilds was that bad. Yeah, the summer event was pretty garbage, but other than that, I feel like it was too hated for no discernible reason. I mean, it's definitely not on par with Season 1, but I think it's better than Season 2. Speedrun Battle Pass Review. 9 out of 10. No One Chance is a little underwhelming, but every other skin is either good and amazing. And May and Kato Florin are two of my favorite skins of all time. Anyways, as we just discussed, many Fortnite players were left really jaded after Wilds, so what Epic did was cook up one of the most action-packed and thrilling seasons of all time. Chapter 4 to Season 4 truly feels right at home in Chapter 1 or 2. There is just so much to love about this season. Starting with the map, Lonely Labs is a pretty lackluster POI, and the Citadel was struggling a bit after the mythics were gone. So they replaced those two with some of the best designed POIs of all time, plus another one for good measure. The map at this point was truly extraordinary, with everything finally coming together for an extremely well designed map with a ton of interesting biomes. The loot pool was just as good, if not better. The base loot pool was really great, with stuff like the Sharp Tooth, a buffed combat SMG, Suppressed Sniper, Twin Mag AR, and the Rocket Ram, but the mythics are where this season shines. I know it's pretty hypocritical of me to say that the mythics of this season is what makes it good, but the Season 2 mythics sucked. It's because the mythics in this season were pretty interesting. You'll see what I mean. Firstly, we had the Deku Smash come back for a little bit, and it was just as fun to use as it was before. But we also had Todoroki's Ice Wall, which was amazing in zero builds, and it was really good for protecting the vault from third parties. But the collabs aren't where the mythics shine. You see, when you heisted a vault, there would be 2 or 3 mythics and pedestals from Chapter 2 and 3, and you can only keep one. And these were some heavy-hitting weapons too, stuff like the Shockwave Launcher, Kit's Charge, MK, Gunner Stinger, and more. I kind of wish they added some more mythics as the season progressed, but I'm fine with what we got. Just kind of wish they would have added a curveball like the Sideways Minigun or the Spire Assassin Shotgun or something. The Fortnite Nightmares update this season also wasn't that bad. I don't know why everyone hates it so much. I really like the Mythic Kinetic Blade they added, and all the new augments like the Mythic Grab Bag. That one was so good. Another great thing they added was Forecast Towers, and this was their best iteration ever. They were placed in decent proximity to the resort POIs, so you could always expect some clean fights around there. Plus, you can get a gold Twin Mag AR and Slurp Juices for taking down the boss. Now they just kind of give okay weapons. I also love how they added a few mini-vaults in one location from each season. They added one in Slappy Shores for Season 1, Mega City for Season 2, and Rumble Ruins for Season 3, kind of adding some finality to the chapter. I also love the build-up to Season OG. I think they did that really, really well. Way better than they did for Chapter 2 Remix, at least. It's pretty obvious I think Chapter 4 Season 4 is one of the best seasons of all time, and it deserves way more love. It is so much more than just the middle child of like the Vault-themed seasons, and we should definitely be recognizing it more.
Australia, you're fired! Go on, scram! Get out of here, you moochers! That's right, keep moving!
You know what? Yeah.
Except you stay.
Speedrun Battle Pass Review. 8 out of 10. Spectre Knight is probably the best skin in here, and the rest is pretty solid, but she is just so good. Anyways, about the season. While this season isn't technically really Chapter 4, it just feels natural to talk about it here, since I really won't be able to talk about it anywhere else. Anyways, Season OG was our first trip down memory lane, and man, was it an experience. Nowadays, Epic brings back OG Fortnite or some iteration of it like every 2 weeks at this point, but it was just something special the first time. And this is coming from someone who barely even played Chapter 1, and when I did, it was mostly just Season 9X. This was just so fun to play with like your friends and stuff. The player count was insane, all the people were coming back, you had like new stuff to mess around with like every single week. It was just a lot of fun. November 2023 was an amazing time to be playing Fortnite. Also, we had a pretty mid live event to close it out, but at least we had a live event, right? I mean, it was cool in the moment, but like with the hindsight of how the metaverse modes kind of played out, it's just not really that good. To wrap this video up, I would just like to mention how every single chapter goes through this stupid cycle of being hated while it happens, but around 2 years later, everyone suddenly loves it. Like, if you remember correctly, people hated Chapter 2 when it was happening, but now most people say it's like their second favorite or favorite chapter. Same with Chapter 3. Some people have somehow developed the notion that Chapter 3 Season 3 was a good season over time. I just feel like people need to really start, like, stop taking what they have for granted and just appreciate it for what it was. And Chapter 4, unfortunately, is like the biggest residual of this. It seems that like no one really appreciates what was given during this chapter and just sees it as pretty bad. When in reality, it's not, and it is absolutely nothing in comparison to Chapter 5. Thank you for watching this video all the way through. This is going to be my first video of 2025, and I have a lot more planned in the future. Especially if you're a Plants vs. Zombies fan, look out for that stuff. Anyways, I'm J-Bro, and I'm out. Peace.